Right, we've got box number 2 today. Again, I don't know what's in this box. I've got the window open, there's a bit of building work going on outside, so excuse the noise. Let's open this bad boy up and see what's inside. Very nicely packed there, Steve. We've got a DNT. I'm sure I've done one of these before. HT 4000 FM. I've done a few DNT radios though, so I'm sure we'll be okay with that one. So a handy talkie, I haven't done one for a while. I probably won't do that today because it actually take more time than rigs, believe it or not. We've got a Danita 3000 UK. These are actually fantastic radios. I've got 2 of these. I've got one which I have up on the bench there, and it is a great radio, particularly its scanning feature. Really nice scanning feature on this. So I'm hoping this one works alright. I've got a really tidy one, brand new in a box, which has got a broken screen. Very hard to repair the screen on these, so hopefully the screen hasn't gone on this one, but this will probably be the one that I'm doing today. But let's have just a quick look in the box to see what lies in the rest of the box, so we know what we're going to be doing next. Look at this multi-band scanner. I do remember seeing these advertised in the sort of Sunday supplement magazines. With the air band, TV one there, look, FM. Yeah, I do remember seeing these, so I don't know if this one works, but we can certainly power it on and see how it goes. Looks like it takes AA batteries. Oh yeah, AA, 4 pieces of AA, so yeah. That's a proper retro classic bit of kit, that one, isn't it? And we have a Midland M0 Plus, again a radio that I haven't seen before. Plastic case. Yeah, that's interesting. I think we've got mics for all of these in here. So we've got a capo mic. I've not seen one of those with the up-down buttons on the front. That's interesting, isn't it? Capo microphone there. We've got the Midland microphone, which I assume is for the Midland. And we've got another Midland microphone here, which has got a broken PTT, so it seems. Now, it may be that the Midland microphone is the same as the Danita microphone. But I do have a Danita microphone, so we can test. I said to Steve we would test the Danita 3000 today and get that working. So let's get that on the bench. Right, going back through the box, I can see we've got the capo mic in here with the up-down buttons, and then here's off of my radio, the original Danita microphone, which has got the lock button on the top and then the up down buttons, and this is the pin, the plug, and you can see there it's a 6-pin plug in that sort of format, so you won't get a normal 4-pin in there. So I think we'll go ahead and assume that this is it's a non-standard replacement microphone for the Danita 3000, so we'll work on that principle, but I've always got my microphone if need be, if we need that for doing anything. On the Danita, it's just 2 screws either side, and then a couple of screws on the back plate. This looks like it's got the original screws in, which is nice to see. Here it is with the case off. It looks relatively unmolested. Can't see anything that's caught fire. Can't see any evidence of capacitors going funny in these. Like I say, I did have one which had the display completely stopped working now, and with that radio that was a particular shame because there was nothing I could do to fix that, so I am on the lookout for a really battered chassis that's still got the display in it. But one thing that you can sometimes often get with radios that have these RF shields on, particularly if the radios are used in a mobile situation, is you can get condensation forming underneath these plates, and you very often get dry joints and bad connections. So if you do have a radio like these, or such as the Midlands, where they use these RF shields, very often, I know it's a bit of a pain, but just removing the screens by solder sucking on the joints there and taking them off, and just reworking these areas can very often bring a dead radio back to life. So, but we don't know what this does, so we will turn it on. We should power it up and see if it works or not. I don't think Steve has mentioned whether it does. But what we will do, we'll use my microphone that I know works first, and we'll evaluate the radio with that, and then we'll test, once we've got those down, we will test the original microphone once we've done the setup. Okay, let's power it on. You can see one problem straight away. This display is supposed to be backlit orange. I don't think there's a way of turning that on and off in the settings. Could be wrong. I should probably have to read the manual, but this is a backlit display and that's not on. The buttons appear to be illuminated, but the display isn't. But the display is at least working on this one. And now we've got some white noise there. We've got squelch operation. It's coming on channel 9, and we've got channel selection, and we've got EU and UK selection working on there. Have we got transmit? Let's try it. No. Okay, so just looking at the power meter, we've keyed. We've got any change in, we've got a little change, but we've not got any power on transmit. So that's our first problem. So we've got no TX. Let's just grab the President Randy and see if we've got any TX at all. Okay, using the President Randy, we can see we've got receive here. We'll put it in channel 20. 1 2 1 2. So receive is okay from the Randy to this, but we've not got any transmit. So I'll just have a little try. Oh yeah, we do. We just don't have any transmit power. So this is why it's useful to have a monitor receiver right next to the radio. So you can see we've got the signal coming up there, but we don't appear to have any audio. I'll just turn the Randy up a little bit, perhaps we do. No. So we don't appear to have any audio, but we do have a transmit signal. Okay, so there's two problems there. No transmit audio and no transmit power, although we do have low power transmit. So the oscillator would appear to be working. My bet would be there's going to be a dry joint underneath either one of these plates. Always worth taking some notes down. So we'll take down, we've got TX power, it's there, it's very, very low. Let's check on the transmit frequency. Alright, so we're looking at 2779.141. It should be 2779.125. So that's gone high. Like I say, that's easily adjustable, but what's more a concern is the lack of any power. Okay, so we got 0.41 microvolts there as he drops the microphone on the floor. 0.41 microvolts. It's a short microphone lead on here. Okay, and it's doing 12 dB per 0.41. So that's pretty good on receive without any adjustment. I didn't think there would be a problem on receive on these. I'd say the main bugbear for this is the lack of the backlit screen. If you were using this mobile, that would be a problem. You wouldn't be able to see that at night in a car or a lorry, so that is an issue. But I think they're bulbs. I think bizarrely, I think from memory that they're little bulbs that sit behind the screen. They're not LEDs, they're little bulbs, and I'm not sure where I would get those. So anyway, let's write that figure down for RX. So TX frequency 27 point whatever it was, 7913 was it? Deviation, I'm going to put question mark there, and RX 0.41 microvolts, 12 dB cyanide. Right, now we've got the screen off. Now I would say the screen actually has been off before at some point. I can see a couple of locations here and also here where it looks like a component has been lifted. It's hard to say for certain, but what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to go around these joints, particularly around the power section, just reflow some of these connections first, and then we'll have another go to see if we can get any transmit power first, just in case it's something as simple as a dry joint. After a quick rework, we still haven't got any. We've got transmit power, but no transmit power, but we've got a signal nonetheless. but we still haven't got anything showing on the meter. But one thing I have noticed down here in the bottom right, because we've got no audio at all, is we do have a track there that appears to be blown, and that track appears to be going onwards to the audio IC there, so that might be some reason for the lack of audio. So let's have a look at that next. Indeed, probing with the meter, we don't have any connection there, so that track is open circuit. So let's bridge that with a solder link and a wire link and see if that at least brings our audio back. Alright, pop the link in, but we've still got no transmit audio, so I suspect what has ever caused that track to blow is probably some kind of failed component somewhere within the circuit. So what we'll do, we'll move back to the original fault of the no transmit, and we'll test this power transistor to see if it's okay. I've just unsoldered the legs of the RF power transistor from the board, and testing it actually is coming up okay here. So we've not got a problem with that. So that's a slightly strange one. We're going to have to obviously, I think, remove this plate and just see where our RF power, where we're getting it and where it's stopping. Wetting down the board to clean it with isopropyl alcohol, we can also see we've got another track here which has gone as well. So it's starting to look a bit more ominous, this repair, in terms of something badly has gone wrong. But we'll go through under the VCO here, we'll go through some of these joints here first and see if we can at least get the TX power to spring into life, and then I'll examine this track to see what's gone on with that. It is actually making continuity, so, but obviously it's got a bit hot at some point, and that's a sign of something I think failing. It may well have been the bulbs, when the bulbs went in the display, possibly. I get a circuit diagram for the radio, but I will actually take this pre-power amplifier out, and we'll check that on the meter first before we do any sniffing around. So we'll just establish that that's correct, and it's got the number on it down there, which is a C231, 2SC, I guess that is 231. So we shall take that out and pop it on the tester first. And as suspected, that transistor is okay. What we will actually just double check is that it actually has been put in the circuit the right way around, because this may well have been taken out before by somebody. So I will just go through those connections and just establish whether that has been inserted in the circuit correctly. I've got my homemade RF sniffer probe. I think I've done a video on this, and my analog meter. And what we'll do is we'll start off by establishing we're getting drive out of this first transistor here, which is Q301. So let's find that on the top side, flip the board over and check that first. Right, so there's the first transistor there. We're going to probe off the base of it there. You can see there's just a slight movement there. You can see that ever so slight. And then if we probe off the collector, we can see we've got a full swing. So we can see that that first transistor there on transmit is working. So testing this transistor, we're getting the same on the base as we are on the collector there, exactly the same current, which would suggest to me that the base, between the base and the emitter, the transistor is switching on, but there's no collector current flowing. So we're detecting the gate more or less the same voltage on the base as we are on the collector. So there is something on the collector side where we're not getting our power through that transistor, so we need to investigate that. Right, around where that short circuit was, there's a couple of transistors, and I think I might have found the culprit. We've got Q258 and Q257. They're involved in switching the supply to the collector of the RF power transistors in the finals. So taking that out and actually putting it in the tester, it actually is appearing to be okay. So we'll check 257 now then. This might be the problem. 257 is now coming in as a resistor, and we know it's definitely not that. So let's pop 257 out of the other set, swap it over. There we go, and Q257 out of the other radio. The scrap chassis is fine, so we'll pop that one in. I think I'm going to also change 256. I'll certainly check that as well, because That's all in the same stream of transistors. Yeah, so Q256 is also okay. That's showing up as a BJT NPN transistor. So we'll pop that one back in, and then we'll power it up and see if we got any transmit power. Right, we've got it back on. We've just powered it up, and let's see if that's brought our transmit power back. Oh yes, there we go. On the 20 watt scale, there we go, look, just over 3 watts. So there you go, there's one to look out for. On this Danita 3000, I imagine that at some point this had failed, driving this hard on, and it created that short which you can see on the track there, which had took that track out. So I suppose the key to take from this, if you're doing a repair and you spot a track as burnt out, the likely culprit for that will be near to where, or connected to something that is very near to where the short circuit was, and that's what we have had here. So this is a fairly beefy transistor, this one. This one hadn't gone, but the one downstream of it had, and that one was okay. So there you go. I mean, that took about an hour to find that problem. So like I say, on these more modern radios, you do have to factor that in if you're doing this commercially, because they are harder to find faults like that. So I'm pleased I found that one, because it wasn't immediately obvious until I found the proper wiring diagram for the radio. There we go, 1 2 1 2. A little bit quiet, but we'll bring that up. So obviously the transmitted audio is being affected by that switching transistor being blown as well. So that's brought the transmitted audio back. Okay, brilliant. So we'll just actually check the deviation on that and see what the deviation is, and so we can finish off our little table and of results here. So we got there we go. So we'll just do that now. Okay, right, I've identified from the wiring diagram what's what, so you can always pause this video and take a screenshot or whatever and print these off so you can see what everything is. So I'll lay the print off sideways. Maybe that will be of some help, save you a bit of time. So I mean, I wouldn't suggest you mess with the VCO unless it's really not on lock, and in some of these sets it will be full of wax as well anyway. Frequency AM mod, again AM's not available on this radio, but on some of the others based on this chassis it will be. TX power, up and down, squelch, your S meter, power meter, the 4 RX coils there, 1 2 3 4 in that order, and then for transmit you got 1 2 and 3 there for your transmit. So very basic. I won't go through that with you. We'll just quickly check on that deviation before we'll get a figure down for that, because we haven't got a figure for it. We'll take the deviation figure, I'll tune it up, and then we'll pop it on air and see what it sounds like. Okay, for deviation, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Really quiet. That's below 1k there, you see. So that needs to come right up. That's it all tuned up on optimised. We got it down to 0.36 of a microvolt for 12 dB sine now, so pretty sensitive. That's half decent. The S meter on power, on TX power, I got it, the maximum I could get out of that was the 6 bars, so I don't know what's going on there. And same with receive. So the S meter is a little bit lazy on transmit and receive, but there's not a lot I can do about that. So the only thing that isn't working is the backlit screen. Like I say, that is a job and a half to sort that out. So like I say, you run far more risk in just turn that down. Run far more risk in damaging the screen and trying to fix that than it's worth it doing it. So that's it really. I need to pop these screens back on. I know these are a pain for some people when they see these, but I will pop those back on. So we'll pop it all back together, and then we'll see if we can get hold of Mick and do a quick radio check. And there we go, that's the other screens added on. We'll just check it works before we do put the cases on. First, sometimes it's easy to get a short when you're doing that. General courtesy to see, I'm going to remake his lead. This lead is incredibly temperamental, just goes on and off all the time, so that would be infuriating as hell in a mobile situation. So we'll change that over to something a bit more usable. Alright, so it's the next day now. we're going to give Mick a shout and see if he's around. And we're just doing this test on a loft antenna up in the loft, like a little mini Starduster up in the loft. And Mick is about 2 miles away down a slope, so it's a good bit of a test. Lots of noisy houses in the way, so we'll give it a try. Right, I wonder if Mick is about this fine morning. We've got a Danita 3000 UK here, which was quite poorly. I imagine it's been broken for quite a while, with a fairly tricky to find fault. Certainly a fault that would probably be above the head of a normal screwdriver king anyway. So I wonder how copy there, Mick.
Yeah, good morning, Paul. This is Bus Stop This End, otherwise known as Mick. And we are doing some radio testing, and I'm receiving you loud and clear. Lovely audio. Back to you, Paul.
Yeah, Rog, likewise. I mean, we're about
a couple of miles away, aren't we, as the crow flies, and you're slightly down a dip. So it's never perfect, but regular viewers to the channel will kind of know how we get on. And of course it's summer now as well, so there are other things in the way a little bit as well. But you're certainly sounding really good. This is not using the factory mic, this is using an aftermarket capo microphone, but it's got the up-down buttons and it seems to be working quite well. The only problem with this radio is the backlight doesn't work on it, but it's not a major issue. I don't think it's, well, it's certainly not worth taking the screen apart to try and fix that problem. So I'm really pleased it's come back to life, and I gather you're recording your end so we can let everyone know what it sounds like, right?
Yeah, okay, Paul, sounds brilliant. Very good indeed. Very, very slight white noise, that's all, not much at all. It's gone down actually, so as you can see I'm on the Thunderpole T800, which I think is a lovely little radio. The only thing that I can knock about this one is that it doesn't have a tone burst in it, which I would love, which is a proper TV thing. So anyway, yes, you're sounding brilliant, Paul. So back to you, mate.
Okay, thanks for that, Mick. The one thing I do like about this, it's a PR27 rig, not that I would use the EU channel block, but it has a nice scan function on it. Really nice scan function. Not all the radios have that, and it works. It doesn't just scan the first 40 and stop like some of them do. It does properly scan, so you can leave this on in the shack and whiz around, and particularly now as there's not that many folks on CB, it's a very useful feature to catch the sort of lone breaker on air. So very, very nice radio indeed. The same innards as a Midland Allen 78 as well, which I've mentioned on the video.
Yeah, all copied, Paul. I very much enjoyed your last video as well. That was brilliant. So looking forward to the next one. Talk to you later, mate. Bus stop going clear.
Okay, thanks to Mick for that one. That's another one saved from the scrap pile, and we'll get this sent back to Steve. Really good little radios, the Danita 3000. Obviously, if you're looking at these on eBay and you're looking at buying one, do make sure the screen is working if the seller can, and also obviously get them to check the backlight too. But that is a common problem, that problem where you're getting no TX power, and that switching arrangement that I showed you there, that is actually found on quite a few other sets as well, not just the Midland sets, but also the Cobras. The UK 29 also uses the same system, and I have actually got one in the drawer from Steve that's got that problem. So I think that's gonna be the same issue with that transistor. So keep your eyes on the channel. We'll perhaps look at doing that one soon, and we'll see if that has inherited the same issue as this one. Right, if you have been, thanks ever so much for watching. I'm going to wrap this one up. Take care, we'll catch you on the next video.